we have selected the panel consisting of the members from two important origins of black matpe, pigeon peas, and green mung beans. That is Myanmar and India. This is a major market for them. Another origin is Africa, and second important market is Pakistan. On the leftmost is Mr. Thanu. He's director of Wasu Company Limited. He's based out of Myanmar, a hardcore Myanmar citizen, and in pulses business for the last 20 years. In the middle, Mr. Alok Bhargava. He's with AST Group, based out of Dubai. They have offices all over the African origins countries. And he is engaged in pulses industry for last over 15 years after having served with Swiss Singapore and ETG. Next to him should have been Mr. Anis Majid from Bombay Impex, but unfortunately he could not make it as he was not feeling well. So his son, Mr. Faisal Anis Majid, is representing him. He is from Bombay Impex, which is a very old and credible broking firm in Pakistan. And one of the panel member, Mr. Rajesh Agarwala, who was to represent India, could not make it because he could not get the visa. So perhaps the team and I myself would be representing him. And last, I am Lalit Bangar from Swiss Singapore Overseas, based out of Singapore, a part of Aditya Birla Group with turnover of $4.4 billion. So to make it more interesting, I would like to take the seat there, and then we'll start the interaction. To start with, we start with the Myanmar origin, and in Myanmar, the most important product is black matpe. To comment on that, Mr. Thanu.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, black matpe, let me start with production of over the last 5 years. The production has been stable around 600,000 tons, and the trade has been stable over the last 5 years. But let me highlight one point here is that black matpe production in Myanmar is mainly for export. 90% of production is exported. It mainly goes to India, Pakistan, a bit into Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka and Middle East, mainly South Asia, Indian subcontinent. And domestic consumption in Myanmar is very insignificant. So about 70% goes to India, 10-15% goes to Pakistan, and then the rest goes to Middle East, a bit into Malaysia too. And it is winter crop in Myanmar. It is sown in October, November, and harvested in Feb, March. So the new crop now in Myanmar has been harvested. The export of new crop has been active as usual. That's the background history of matpe. Next slide. Okay, this is the price trend and historical prices of matpe over the last 1 year, starting from Jan 2013. The prices have been fluctuating from about 504B to around 700. That's fluctuation of this commodity. It's not new, it's quite normal. That's how traders make or lose money. Present, the market has been active. And as of today and as of last few days, the market has been traded around 800 something for FAQ. And SQ, 900 plus.
Let me clarify, these prices which have been shown is for FAQ quality. There are two types of black matpe. One is FAQ and one is SQ. So this is for the FAQ. And the price increase in since last Monday to last Thursday was to the tune of 13%, just in 4 days.
New crop, we have estimated the production to be around 575,000 tons, which is about 10% smaller than 5-year average. Because of encroachment of this green mung beans area into black mape area. And the harvest was also delayed by a few weeks into the second half of March, because the sowing was delayed due to the rains during the sowing time. And so far, we have estimated about 60,000 tons of new crop have been shipped from Myanmar until end April. Market has moved up by about $150 per ton since the harvest in March. Okay, now we talk about pigeon. Later on, you can raise any question. Now we talk about pigeon. Pigeon production has been quite volatile in terms of volume. And the average, 5-year average of pigeon has been around 300,000 tons. But last year, it's only about 190,000 tons. And this year, we expect for around the same level of about 170 to 180,000 tons. And pigeon is again, sorry, before talking about prices, pigeon is again a 6-month crop. So when you have pigeon in the field, for sure you cannot have 3 crops in a year because you're taking away 6 months out of 1 year for growing pigeon. Pigeon grows, is sown in June, harvested in December, January. It takes about 6 months. I feel that it may be one of the reasons why pigeon production has been slowing down, because return from investment for the farmers has been not so attractive to farmers. So let's see how it goes from now till about 5 years on. This is the monthly price trend of pigeon since Jan 2013. It went up to around 800 in April 2013. Then it went down to around 500 level by the end of 2013. Then it gradually grows up starting from Jan 2014. Actually, Jan is harvest time, but it still goes up. It mainly because supply and demand. We have estimated this year production to be around 175,000 tons, which is again about 30% smaller than 5-year average. Because during the sowing time, the drought was severe in Myanmar, in growing areas. The quality has been reasonably good this year. The reason why we have highlighted here about quality is because the quality of pigeon is again very volatile. In some years, totally bad. In some years, good. This year, reasonably good. And since the harvest, the stockists have been active, buying it, putting it in the warehouses. So the major production of the crop has gone into the warehouse of the stockists in Myanmar. And I think about 35,000 tons have been shipped, new crop, since harvest and till end April. This is green mung beans. Green mung beans, the average production is around 300,000 tons in Myanmar. Again, green mung beans has got quite a few crops in Myanmar. Actually, mainly 2 crops, winter and monsoon. Winter crop is more important, bigger, and the quality is of course better because of no rain. Monsoon crop is a bit smaller. There's always quality issue with the monsoon crop because of the rain during the harvest. And this year, the winter crop has been exceptionally good in Myanmar. The volume has gone up to around 400,000 tons this year. The market was, the people in the market were expecting for market to be a bit bearish because of prospective good crop, but what happens was the other way around. Because of demand from China, mainly because of demand from China. Chinese demand has been active. Out of green mung beans production in Myanmar, usually half goes to China and half goes to India. So it's a competition of India and China in Myanmar for green mung beans. This is the historical price trend of green mung beans, FOB, since January 2013. It started from about 850. By the end of 2013, it went up to 1,200. Again, it was just before the harvest of new crop in 2014. And when the crop came out, the market a bit cooled off, down to around 1,050, 1,100. Again, still 4 digits. New crop, green mung beans. When we say new crop, this is winter crop, which is harvested in March. We have estimated production to be around 425,000 tons this year, which is far greater than 5-year average, because the farmers have put more green mung beans in their field than matpe, because value of green mung beans is far higher than matpe. So return from their investment is better from green mung beans. As you have mentioned, initially prices were expected to come down, but because of Chinese demand and some shortage in India and bad weather, the market firmed up. So far, I think about 110,000 tons of new crop have been shipped to India and China, a bit into Vietnam.
So almost 25% have been shipped just
Yes.
in 1.5 months.
Yeah, correct. This is the price trend of major 3 products: matpe, pigeon, and mung beans. These are the export numbers of total passes from Myanmar by calendar year. The exports numbers have been around 1 million to 1.5 million every year. It has been stable, and it will go on for sure.
But there is a quite disparity among the numbers of each year. You can see ranging from 900,000 right up to 1.4 million tons. So 100,000 tons difference from one year to another, which is really a big deviation. This is in the, I think, the graph format, which shows out of the total exports, black matpe holds a major share.
Yeah, these are the destinations of Myanmar passes. Of course, the 3/4 of the pie in blue color goes to India, and then followed by Pakistan, then Vietnam, China, Malaysia, Middle East.
Okay, we talked about the production and the exports. So what do you think carrying stock this year was for black matpe?
Historically, the carry-in stock of matpe into each new year is about 50,000 tons. So this year should be the same.
Okay, and about pigeon piece?
Pigeon, we estimated to be 25,000 tons of old crop carried over into the new crop this year.
And green mung beans?
About 30,000 tons.
Right. Okay, then we move on to the another origin is Africa, which Mr. Alok Bhargava will be covering.
Good afternoon and welcome to Africa. In Africa, out of 3 products, we don't have black matpe there. It's a negligible quantity and actually not exported at all. So we'll just discuss pigeon peas and green mung beans from Africa. In my discussion, what I have done is, because it is more than one country, so I've just prepared a small brief. We'll just discuss the increasing role of Africa and the countries which are producing green mung and pigeon peas. Overall view, what is the supply position in Africa. Overall view of what the exports are country-wise. Current trends, or what is the carryover situation, and of course, what could be the future scenario. This is the map of Africa. Yellow basically denotes what produces pigeon peas and also mung, some of the countries, but green represent which produces only green mung. The producing countries in Africa are mostly Tanzania, then Ethiopia, Mozambique, Uganda, Malawi, Kenya, and a little bit of Madagascar. If you see Tanzania, which is East African country, the producing areas mostly are Arusha, Singida, Bawati, and Mwanza. 2014 crop estimates, which the season went down, 13-14 was around 110,000 ton for tuor, and for green mung is around 50,000 metric ton. Major exports are to India, UAE, and basically mung goes to Pakistan. Pigeon pea is not much. Mung size, it's all small size available there. No carryover. And the tuor season normally starts in June, July, and green mung season, it starts in March. The next country, which is also East African country, is Mozambique. The producing region there are mostly Beira, Nakala, and Ampula, mostly exports to Indian market. Estimated last season's crop was tuor about 45,000 ton, and green mung of around 12 to 15,000 metric ton. The mung size is similar to what Tanzania has got, the smaller size. And tuor has got 2 varieties there. One is red tuor and one is the whitish one. Crop season here also, it starts July, end of June, July. And for the mung, normally starts in April. And it goes for 2 to 3 months there. The next country is Ethiopia. Mostly the producing region is the Say area. And the main exports are to India and Far East. The estimated green mung size is around 30,000 ton. Tuor is just small. Actually, traditionally they don't produce tuor, but I think some of the farmers has started producing tuor, and we have seen some exports of tuor last year. I think that should be the first or second year of exports only. Size of the mung is bigger than Tanzania and Mozambique, medium size. The season, they have 2 crop, one is small crop in June and the other one in November, December. One important thing which I want to mention here is that this year the Ethiopia has decided to include green mung in exchange in ECX. So green mung will be now another commodity which will be traded on exchange in Ethiopia.
This is going to be the first time they're going to introduce.
This is the first year, yes.
Yeah. And you said they started growing tuor whole also this year.
Tuor whole they have started producing, but it's very small quantity.
No, so is there any scope for
they are
increasing
not
the
traditionally
production?
producing of
It's not that.
tuor. Yeah. Okay. Next country which produces is Malawi. In Malawi, the producing region is mostly Blantyre area or border of Mozambique, that's Milanje. Exports mainly to Indian market. Estimated tuor crop is around 60 to 75,000 ton. Mung very negligible, not I think no exports from there. tour variety, same like Mozambique, they have red as well as white type of.
In the crop
tour.
season, what is the crop season?
And the crop season, it will start in June, July for Malawi. Next, Kenya. It's not a very big producer, but still it produces. It produces Mung as well as tuar. Both goes to Indian market mostly. Estimated crop size is around 10,000 ton for tuar, and Mung is around 12 to 15,000 ton. The Mung season normally starts in January, and tuar season is after Tanzania, normally in July or August beginning. Then Uganda is a neighboring country of Kenya. It also produces a very little quantity of tuar and Mung. The main producing region is Lira region, and exports mainly either they do it border trade to Kenya, and from Kenya sometime if it is exported it goes to Indian market. The estimated size for tuar is around 3,000 ton, and Mung is around 5,000 ton. The crop season for tuar starts in July, August, and Mung starts with Kenya around January. Then the last country is Madagascar. It's an island. Mostly the producing region is Majunga area there, and they do exports to India and Far East market. Estimated crop is just little, 5 to 8,000 ton of Mung, and they produce both yellow as well as green Mung. And their season normally starts, it coincides with Mozambique because they are in the same area. It starts in March. This is just a number for, just a summary for the various country for tuar and Mung. As you could see, we have already, I think we have discussed this one.
So Africa is in competition with Myanmar so long as two role is concerned.
Yeah,
They are
because the
growing
production
their,
is increasing year to year,
Yeah.
and we have seen quite a big of increase in the production.
Okay. So how are the qualities of respective countries? Like, because being a different countries on one continent, how the quality really matters from
The
market point of view?
quality does vary because if you see in tour, the Arusha quality is considered to be best out of Africa, only next to lemon, I believe. And the Malawi one or the Mozambique one is slightly, it's lower quality as compared to Arusha. But it's mainly the market is milling market. The Gujarat area, mostly they are the one who are consuming most of the African tuar. Yeah. South is very little. South only buys Tanzania, but as far as Malawi or Mozambique or even Kenya is concerned, they don't prefer that.
So you mean to say that African tuar has got no threat to the Canadian green lentils, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So,
It has
our
a
Canadian friend
different-
should ignore this slide.
Okay, to discuss about trends and current stock position, the supply position of Tanzania tour is almost over, the last year crop, and the new crop will start around June, July. Last season, we have seen the prices started with 650 levels, and it has been traded in the last season up to as low as up to $550. Tanzania Mung season is still running. This season, the last season prices we have seen, it was more or less stable between 850 to 950 levels. And this year it has started with 950, went up as high as 1100 in between. And then now in the current scenario, it's around $1,000 for Tanzania. As far as Ethiopia Mung is concerned, it's almost over. Not much crop left there for exports. Next short crop will be coming in June. It's early because there is no such data to indicate on the crop indication. Last year, the season which ended, the price range, it started with 1,050 levels, and it was sold as high as 1,190 levels to Far East markets. Then for the Mozambique tour, it's same position. There is no carryover. And new crop is likely to start in July. Last year's prices for tour was traded 575 levels, and it went as low as 510 levels for Indian market. Mung season is due to start. It just arrivals has started already. Last season, the price trend was between 850 to 950, and this year, offers are yet to start. Few sellers are $1,000, but not much business taken place right now. Malawi tour is expected to start in June, July. Last year, price range was between 510 to 545 levels. I think, Laliji, you can see now the price levels are different for each variety of tour. So it is already adjusted as per the market demand and market situation. And the Kenya Mung crop also finished in March. The price range was between 1,050 and it went as high as 1150 in early March. And tour season was, the last season prices were between 510 to 545 levels. As far as demand is concerned, mostly the demand of tour is mainly from India. It's currently bullish, but as you know, it all depends on how the Indian monsoon forecast will behave. Demand for Mung for Middle East and India for milling is still on, and it's consistent, with the southern part of India showing interest as their local crop is almost over. And from west, the demand is not much coming now. For East market, for Far East market, they prefer to use Mung for sprouting basis, and that is the reason why they prefer to buy from Ethiopia and little bit from Madagascar. All other, basically, Mung is mostly going for the splitting purpose.
Now, saying all said that this all prices and all which you are saying, what do you think the factors which are going to affect in future for the prices?
Prices mostly, this monsoon factor is still holding up the
So
prices.
you got a lot of jokers in your cart, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let us show them.
Yeah. I think there are few jokers which could change the scenario, whatever way we are discussing. One, it could be erratic weather, which we have seen in some parts of India, in other crops. Then the exchange rate it's not only India, but even in Africa, we are facing this exchange rate fluctuation, which is affecting the prices more or less. And of course, it's always the African supply is now increasing, which is always changing. And we, in Africa, still we have yet to design the organized system like Canada to have proper figure or proper exports and production figure. So it will take time to Africa to realize that factor. And of course, the forecast of El Nino, which I think nobody is clear as on today, but it could affect the market in the long run.
Thank you, Alokji. We'll take on the questions a little later. Now, this is the ASC networks which they have. They can tell which all countries you have offices, Alokji.
We have of course, in East Africa, in Tanzania, we have in Mozambique, Malawi, Kenya, then Uganda. We have representative office in Ethiopia.
Right.
Then we have in West Nigeria, Burkina, Ivory Coast. 3 we are covering. And outside Africa, we are covering Canada. We have started Canada this year.
Right.
And Russia also we have started this year.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Now we move to the Indian scenario, which was to be done by our friend Mr. Rajesh Agarwala, but he is not here. So he was kind enough to send the slides on net. And we'll just quickly go through. Of course, we all know India is the largest producer, import, and consumer. And the major pulses which has been shown there, since we have to cover only 3 major pulses, which is black matpe, pigeon, green mummies. I'll move on to the next slide. Mr. Chandrasekhar also shown us that the production is increasing in India day by day, but at the same time the demands are also going rapidly going up, and the estimates of planning commissions also were outbeaten by the actual demand. So there is going to be a gap, and these are the total production in last 10 years almost. As you can see, the production is increasing year by year. Now, urad production in India has been erratic. It is up maximum was 1.43 million tons. And this year, they are expecting a little lower production due to the bad weather and the last-minute rain and hailstorms. So you could see the prices of black matpe going up drastically in last couple of months. These are the total imports done in the country in India month by month. Again, you can see there is a erratic moments of numbers, and there is no trend you can really goes through. Mung production, as we know, was down this year, but thanks to Myanmar high production, that it could offset the shortage in production in India. Still, the price is very high, and had not been Myanmar in the scene, the prices would have gone further up. Of late, the projections of the new crop in India of Mung is reasonably good, so we have seen the prices coming off in India recently. These are the total numbers of imports into India for last 2 years. Yeah, pigeon peas production also has been increasing steadily over last 6 years, and it's putting a great pressure on pigeon peas prices. And as Mr. Thanu mentioned, that even in Myanmar, due to the pigeon peas crop being 6 months crop, it doesn't give a good incentive to the farmers to produce pigeon peas. So you can see a couple of reasons of pigeon peas prices not going up, and so is putting a pressure on green lentils as well. So the local prices in India as of now is under pressure. Yeah, these are the numbers imported the month-wise for last 2 years. Right. Now we move to the Pakistan, which is another significant country to import only black matpe. Mr. Faisal would talk about it. What is the total production, total local crop, and what is the total consumption, imports, and all? You can just be brief about that.
Thank you, Lalitji. First of all, I would like to pass on the greetings from my father to all of you, and thank you to Mr. Lalit and the panel for allowing me to share the views from Pakistan. Black matpe production, we have about 10,000 metric tons crop, and our consumption is about 80,000 tons, which gives a gap of about 70,000 tons, which is fulfilled by kurmi, which is coming from Afghanistan side, and about 45 to 50,000 tons is being imported from Burma, which makes about 8 containers a day consumption of Pakistan as a whole, out of which 5 are imported from Burma and 3 are local and kurmi combined. And a very little quantity is coming from Thailand as well, because the prices were moving up in Burma, so we could the prices in Thailand could be matched, and some cargo was traded in from Thailand as well. So for the last 6 months, it's about 500 containers have been imported from Burma only, and this year. For green mung beans, we have a production of about 150,000 tons, and the consumption is about the same. So we are not importing green mung beans. There are 2 factors, mainly the price, because the international market and other origins are very expensive at the moment, and our local price is about at the 950 levels. So the international market is much $200 higher than that one. And we have a substitute crop that is called mort, which is about 35 to 40,000 metric tons, which if we have a deficit of green mung beans, we can always substitute with that. For tuor whole, we have a crop of about 9,000 metric tons, and the consumption is almost the same. So we are not importing tuor whole as well this year.
So how does this Ramadan, does it affect the demand of black matpe?
It will affect the demand of black matpe a little much, not that much, but mainly it affects desi chickpeas and yellow peas demand in that region, in that area, part of the year.
Okay. And how does your strengthening of the Pakistan rupees has impacted imports overall?
Actually, when the Pakistani rupees was depreciating and the dollar was moving up, a lot of cargo was coming in and was being sold underpriced in our local market. and the exporters were very happy, importers were sad because the cost went up by 10% or plus. But later on, when the government took measures and they brought the dollar down, it was a very good period for the importers because they could cover up that 10% loss on the prices, which was being sold under cost. And with the support of the international market, our local market didn't go down. It stabilized there only. So it was a good opportunity for all of us to make a little margin on what we lost earlier.
Thank you, Faisal.
Thank you.
In the morning, Mr. Chandrasekhar discussed about the five uncertainty which all the world traders should keep into account. In Myanmar trade, typically another uncertainty which I would like to add is now is uncertainty of performance. Over last 2 days, there has been not so good news that one of the major exporter of Myanmar really is in big trouble, and which has really affected the whole trade as such. And there's a sizable impact on the trade as such. Because in Myanmar, the system of payment is 100% advance. So mostly Myanmar traders, originating from Myanmar traders, they work on the negative working capital. So many times the commitment level is a big issue there. I just like to mention this here, because even when I landed here, I got this news, which is not so good news, but anyway. And the major reason, again, contributing to this such situation is that a lot of speculative trade happened in last 1 week or so, after the announcement of Indian Weather Bureau that the weather forecast is that below normal, which, as Mr. Chandra mentioned, 95%, and followed with the El Nino, which nobody knows what El Nino. It is a very sexy word, but so far nobody knows when it is going to come, what is going to happen. But everybody started talking of the effect of the El Nino. So at the moment, the market sentiments are being driven by a lot of such news or uncertainties and such forecasts which are being misread. So I suggest that our industry really work in a healthy way, healthy environment, rather than going on such speculative moves. Now we move on to the questions to the floor. We have 4 minutes left for the lunch. So anybody having a question, raise your hand with the name and company, and then we can ask the questions, please. Yeah. Mike here, please. On the second row. Your name and the company name, and then you can start.
My name is Baldev Limbachia from Ruchi Wire Limited, Mumbai. Thanu, my question to Thanu. Thanu, can you tell me the Mung, the beans export 2010 and 2013 is sharply came down. What is the reason?
You have to go to the slide. You want to know the reason for that?
Yeah, because what happened in 2010, the export was 2.86, whatever figure, and then now 2013 around 136, 130,000 maybe, So a lot of gap between the
Mung beans. See, as I've mentioned, Mung goes to China and India. As we are able to collect more accurate and more reliable numbers of export by sea to India, we are not in the same situation to collect the reliable numbers and accurate numbers from the border trade going to China. So what we have about border trade into China is very wild numbers. That's the main reason why the numbers are fluctuating, especially with Mung. That's the main reason.
So you want to say that in 2010, the export was totally export, and 2013 is by illegally going to China and by China and Myanmar.
Or maybe to India, the exports were more or less. That represent the numbers actually. What he meant to say is that the lot of cargo moves out to through border to China, which we can say include what is smuggling or whatever. But those numbers are not really captured. So the numbers which is being shown is mostly it is representing the official number for the sea trade, which is going to India or wherever.
Now, what is the carry stock at the moment in black market in Myanmar? Do you have any figure? Because you have figured even 25,000 ton might maybe.
You're talking about matpe?
Matpe.
No, this year the crop is just harvested. It was harvested in March, and the crop sizes we have estimated to be around 575,000 tons. The carry in stock from the last year was to be 50,000 tons. So overall, 600,000 tons something availability, out of which about 50 to 60,000 tons have been shipped.
Any more question,
you.
please? Yeah, one there on the last row, behind.
Hello, myself Bharat from Bharat Agencies, Nagpur, India. To Mr. Thanu and Mr. Bangar, I would like to put up a question. I see a significant decrease in supply in subcategory pigeon pea qualities like Sagain, red and white bowl. Can I know what is the reason behind this, please?
Zagai and red and white FAQ.
Red and white FAQ and white bold.
Yes. The production of red and white FAQ and Zagai white bowl have been significantly reduced because of the price. Historically, lemon has been number one in terms of price, and Zagai has been around $100 per ton lower than lemon. Likewise, red and white FAQ is also lower than lemon. So most of the farmers are happy with lemon because of better returns. That's the reason why they have reduced the production of Zagai white and red and white FAQ. But this year, because of less production of Zagai white, it has, I think, been slightly more expensive than lemon this year because of smaller availability. It's a cycle.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more last question before we go for break for lunch. It's 12:40. Okay, there have been no questions. We conclude our discussions down here.
Thank you.
Thank you.